In the quiet depths of your soul, there lies a voice, gentle yet unmistakable, calling you towards something more splendid, something beyond the ordinary. It is a voice that speaks not in the world's clamor, but in the stillness of your heart. Have you ever sensed this? A deep, unshakable knowing that you were created for a higher purpose, a life of significance that transcends the fleeting concerns of this world? That voice is God, closer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts, speaking through the silence surrounding you. He has been with you since the beginning, knitting you together in your mother's womb, knowing your every joy and sorrow. His voice is a call to hope, a steadying presence in the storms of life. As the world around you grows noisy, pulling you in every direction, God's invitation remains, soft yet unwavering. He is not distant, not far off in some unreachable realm. He is here, present, offering you strength for your burdens, refuge in your weariness, and unshakable love as eternal as the mountains. You are not alone in this journey. God sees you, knows you, and calls you by name. Will you listen? Will you trust the one who has always been there, holding you through every victory and loss, whispering to your spirit a purpose far beyond what you can see? In this sacred moment, God's voice reaches out to you, inviting you to trust, to lay down your fears and doubts, and to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. Before time unfolded your story, God knew you, wholly and intimately. He saw your form before you drew your first breath, and with hands of infinite love, He knit you together in the secret place of your mother's womb. From the moment of your creation, He has walked beside you, celebrating your triumphs with boundless joy and holding you close when all seemed lost. His love for you is not fragile or fleeting. It is as immovable as the ancient mountains, steadfast and unshakable. No mistake, failure, or burden is too heavy to always separate you from this love that surrounds you. In times when doubt creeps in and fear whispers its lies, know this: God's love for you is unconditional. It is not based on what you have done or failed to do. It is as sure as the sun's rising. He invites you to lay down the weight of your burdens, the worries that press upon your heart. Come to Him, for He is your strength, refuge, and safe harbor amidst life's storms. When you feel too weary to speak, He hears the silent cries of your soul, knowing the needs you cannot express. God understands you fully, in ways more profound than words. He sees the whole of your life, not just the moments of joy and success, but the quiet battles, the unspoken struggles, and the nights when fear feels overwhelming. In all these moments, He stands by your side, inviting you to trust in His care. His love is not distant or abstract, but personal, close, and constant. You are cherished beyond measure, held in a love that has no end. Trust in this love, for it is the foundation upon which your life rests, the rock that will never fail you. God's voice calls you to something more profound, an invitation to let go and trust His perfect will. A divine purpose is woven into the very fabric of your existence, a plan so vast that it stretches beyond the stars, encompassing dreams and blessings beyond what your mind can fathom. Yet this plan is not something you must strive to achieve on your own. It is a gift waiting to be embraced, a journey that begins with surrender. God calls you to rest in Him, to allow Him to take the reins of your life and lead you into the fullness of His design. He is not asking you to carry the burdens of your future alone, nor to figure out every step of the way. Instead, He beckons you to trust, to let go of the anxieties, the uncertainties, the need for control, and watch as He weaves the threads of your life into a masterpiece of grace. His hands, which form the universe, are the same hands that guide your path, carefully shaping each moment into something beautiful and meaningful. He is not a distant or impersonal God, but your loving Father, ever present and deeply involved in the details of your life. He listens to your heart's deepest desires, whispered hopes, and hidden fears. He invites you to open your heart to Him and pour out your dreams and worries, knowing He hears every word, even the unspoken ones. In a world that shifts like sand, God offers you the one thing that will never change: His eternal promises. He has promised to meet every need, to shield you from harm, and to guide your steps in righteousness. His plans for you overflow with love, joy, peace, and abundance, far beyond what you can imagine. But these gifts come to those who trust, step forward in faith, and are willing to receive what only God can give. As you trust in Him, you will find that God does more than meet your expectations. He exceeds them. With arms wide open, He is ready to lead you into a life filled with purpose, fulfillment, and joy. Will you answer His call? Will you allow Him to turn your trust into a story of transformation, where faith opens the door to blessings more incredible than you have ever dreamed? The choice is yours, and the invitation is eternal, to trust, surrender, and discover the power of God's love and guidance in your life. In the vastness of God's love lies an unbreakable covenant, a promise that reaches eternity and touches your every need. God's promises are not fleeting words or mere hopes, but assurances anchored in His nature, unshakable and eternal. He has pledged to be your provider, protector, and guide, offering you all you need to survive and thrive in the fullness of His grace. God promises to supply your needs, physical, emotional, and spiritual. He knows the desires of your heart, the burdens that weigh heavily on your shoulders, and the silent cries you carry within. And in His infinite love, He has prepared a feast for His children, a table overflowing with love, joy, peace, and abundance, far greater than anything this world can offer. His provision is not limited to the material realm. It encompasses your soul's deepest needs, filling the empty places with His peace and the quiet assurance that you are never alone. He calls you to come forward with a heart of gratitude, ready to receive the blessings He has set before you. Gratitude opens your eyes to the gifts surrounding you, shifting your perspective from lack to abundance. As you approach God with a grateful spirit, you step into a life of greater depth, where the richness of His love fills every corner of your being. His blessings are not just for your benefit. They are meant to overflow, touching the lives of those around you, spreading His love and compassion far and wide. Yet, God's promises are about provision, protection, and guidance. In a world filled with uncertainty, danger, and temptation, He is your shield, refuge, and unshakable fortress. He promises to guard you from harm, seen and unseen, surrounding you with His presence like a light shield. No threat is too significant, and no storm is too fierce for the one who holds your life in His hands. Moreover, He promises to lead you on the path of righteousness, guiding each step with wisdom and love. His counsel is sure, His direction steady, and He will never lead you astray. Even when the way seems unclear, trust that He is lighting the path before you, leading you toward the purpose He has designed for your life. His promises are the anchor that holds you firm through life's storms, the light that leads you through the darkness, and the love that never fails. Come to God's table with a heart full of gratitude, and be prepared to receive the abundance He has lovingly prepared for you. His promises stand as a testament to His unwavering love, and as you trust in Him, you will find that His faithfulness knows no bounds. Step out in faith, knowing that His promises are not just for tomorrow. They are for today, for this very moment, and are yours to claim. Before taking your first step, God knew your life's path. He has walked with you through every season, knowing the depths of your heart more intimately than anyone could ever comprehend. He has been there in your greatest joys and darkest hours, celebrating with you in moments of triumph and holding you close when everything seemed to fall apart. His presence is not just near. It is woven into the fabric of your existence, guiding and sustaining you even when you cannot feel it. God's knowledge of you is boundless. He knows every hope, every fear, and every dream you keep hidden in the quiet corners of your heart. He sees not only your outward actions, but the thoughts that shape your decisions, the longings that drive your soul. There is no need to hide from Him, for He understands you completely, even when you struggle to understand yourself. He knows your potential, the purpose He has placed within you, and the greatness you can achieve through His strength. When life feels overwhelming, when the weight of the world seems too heavy to bear, remember that God is with you. He has never left your side. He is there in your victories, rejoicing with you, and in your failures, lifting you with hands of compassion. He has watched over you, not just from a distance, but with the tender care of a father who deeply loves his child. Every tear you have shed, every unspoken prayer, has been seen and heard by the one who holds everything together. God's presence is not fleeting or conditional. It is a constant, unchanging reality. Even when you feel most alone, He is near, closer than your breath. His love is not contingent on your perfection, nor is His guidance withheld in your moments of doubt. He stands with you, ever ready to lead you toward the purpose He has ordained for your life, a purpose far exceeding any plan you could devise. Trust that His plans for you are good, even when the path is unclear. His grace has marked every step of your journey, and every detour or delay is part of His grand design, working all things together for your good. His knowledge of you is not just intellectual. It is personal, filled with love and a desire for your flourishing. He sees what you cannot, the end from the beginning, and He is leading you toward a future filled with hope, purpose, and peace. In every high and low, God's presence is your constant companion. He walks with you, not as a distant observer, but as a loving Father who cares deeply for your every need. Call upon Him, and He will answer. Search for Him, and you will find He has been with you all along, guiding, protecting, and calling you toward a life of greater depth and meaning. His promise remains. You are never alone. Trust in His presence, for it is the foundation of your journey and the source of your strength. Some walk this earth with a quiet, deep yearning in their souls, a thirst for something greater, a desire for meaning beyond the fleeting distractions of this world. These are the ones whom God has called, the elect who feel His presence even in the smallest moments. You are one of these chosen ones, for you have sensed His divine voice whispering to your heart, guiding you toward a higher purpose. You are not alone in this calling. You belong to a people who have been touched by the hand of God, set apart for something far beyond the ordinary. You are among those who have felt the weight of the world pressing upon your shoulders, yet in that heaviness, you have reached out for a light to guide your way. In moments of doubt, when the questions of life seemed too great, you sought answers, not just in the philosophies of men, but in the deeper wells of faith, hope, and truth. And in those moments, God drew you closer and invited you to trust in His wisdom, guidance, and love. The elect are not those who have never known pain or suffering. Quite the opposite. You are the ones who have tasted loss, who have felt the sting of disappointment and the ache of grief. Yet even in your darkest hours, you have turned to God, calling out to Him when the night felt endless. You are the ones who have cried out for justice, righteousness, and compassion, and in your seeking, you have found the heart of God Himself. He is not far from you. He is right there, weeping with you, bearing your burdens, and offering you the strength to keep going. You are among those who long to make a difference in this world, to live a life that reflects the love and mercy you have received. God has placed within you gifts and talents, not for your glory, but to serve a purpose greater than yourself. He has given you a heart that cares for others, eyes that see the needs of those around you, and a spirit that is moved to action. This compassion and kindness are not just your own. God's love works through you, reaching out to a world that desperately needs it. Yet even as the world pulls at your attention, tempting you with distractions and empty promises, something within you knows the truth. You know there is more in the deepest part of your soul, something higher, something divine. This is the voice of God calling to you, reminding you that your true identity lies in Him, not in the things of this world. You have been called to something far more significant, a destiny shaped by His hand, guided by His wisdom, and filled with His love. You are one of the elects chosen to walk a path that requires faith, courage, and a heart open to God's will. It is not a path for the faint-hearted, but for those who thirst for truth and hunger for righteousness. As you journey forward, know that God is with you every step of the way, leading you, strengthening you, and calling you deeper into His presence. You are not alone. You are part of a people called by God, and His love will sustain you through every trial, every joy, and every challenge that lies ahead. You have sought answers to life's most profound questions in a world filled with countless voices, philosophies, and ideas. You have searched for meaning, purpose, and a foundation to build your life. But amidst the noise and confusion, there is only one true answer: God Himself. He is the source of all wisdom, the wellspring of truth, and the ultimate fulfillment of every longing in your soul. No other pursuit, no worldly philosophy can offer what God alone provides: the certainty of His eternal truth. You are among those who have wrestled with life's most significant doubts and questioned the meaning of suffering, the purpose of existence, and the nature of justice. In your search, you have encountered the limits of human knowledge and the frailty of human wisdom. But in God, there is no limit, no weakness. His wisdom transcends all understanding, His truth is unchanging, and His love answers every question your heart has ever asked. As you stand at the crossroads of uncertainty, know that God is not just an answer. He is the answer. His voice cuts through the confusion, offering clarity where there was once doubt. His truth is not a fleeting opinion or a passing trend. It is the eternal foundation upon which the universe rests. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and all things find their purpose and meaning in Him. In your journey, you have experienced both joy and pain. You have known moments of peace and times of deep sorrow. Yet through it all, God has been there, guiding you with His hand of wisdom and grace. He understands the complexities of your heart, the struggles you face, and the dreams you hold. He is not a distant observer, but an intimate part of your story, the author of every chapter. You find the answers you seek and the fulfillment of every hope you carry in Him. God invites you to trust in His wisdom, to lean not on your understanding, but to rest in the knowledge that He is in control. His truth is not something you must strive to earn or figure out on your own. It is a gift freely given to those who seek it with open hearts. As you surrender your doubts and fears to Him, you will find that His wisdom brings peace, His truth brings freedom, and His love brings joy that transcends all circumstances. You are called to follow a path of truth, a way of living grounded in God's eternal wisdom. It is a path that may not always be easy, for it requires faith, courage, and a deep thirst for righteousness. But as you walk this path, you will find that God is faithful to lead you, to answer the questions that weigh on your heart, and to guide you into the fullness of His plan for your life. In Him, every doubt is silenced, every fear is calmed, and every longing is fulfilled. God is the final answer to all that you seek. In Him, you will find the peace that surpasses understanding, the truth that endures forever, and the wisdom that will guide you through every challenge. Trust in Him, for He is the source of all you need, and His answers are the ones your heart has been searching for all along. God's voice calls you to rise, to step forward in faith, leaving behind fear and doubt. His invitation is not just to trust, but to take action and embrace the life He has planned for you. A life full of purpose, meaning, and joy. This is not a journey for the faint of heart, but for those willing to move beyond the comfort of the known and step into the unknown, guided by the unwavering hand of God. It is a path where courage and trust are met with blessings beyond imagination. The obstacles before you may seem impossible, mountains that block your path, fears that whisper of failure, doubts that tell you you are not enough. But know this, with God, all things are possible. He is not only the author of your story, but the God of the impossible. What may seem too great for you is never too great for Him. He calls you to take that first step in faith, trusting He will meet you with arms wide open, ready to guide you through whatever lies ahead. Fear and doubt are strong forces, weapons that seek to hold you back from the fullness of life God has designed for you. They tell you are too small, weak, or imperfect, but God's truth speaks louder. You are chosen, beloved, and empowered by His Spirit. He has already given you the courage and strength to move forward. The path may be narrow, but it is filled with the light of His guidance, and each step you take is an opportunity for Him to show His power at work in your life. As you step out in faith, you will see that God is faithful to meet you there. Doors that once seemed closed will swing open, mountains will be moved, and miracles will unfold before your eyes. This is not just about what you can accomplish alone, but what God can do through you when you surrender to His will. His strength is made perfect in your weakness, and His grace is more than enough to carry you through every challenge. God is calling you to a life of transformation, to be changed from the inside out. This journey requires you to step beyond your comfort zone, to trust in what you cannot yet see, and to believe in the impossible. But the rewards are extraordinary, far more significant than any fleeting satisfaction the world can offer. It is a life filled with purpose, joy, and a deep sense of belonging to something greater than yourself. You are not alone on this journey. God has given you, fellow travelers, a community of believers who will walk alongside you, supporting and encouraging you as you progress. And above all, He has given you Himself, the constant, loving presence of your Heavenly Father, who will never leave or forsake you. You will find the strength, wisdom, and courage in Him to fulfill your divine calling. The choice is before you: to continue chasing the illusions of this world, or to embrace the reality of God's love and the life He has set before you. The path may be difficult, but the rewards are eternal. Will you answer His call? Will you trust in His power to accomplish the impossible in your life? God is waiting, arms open wide, ready to lead you into a life of purpose and joy that surpasses all understanding. God's desire for you is not limited to distant rituals or surface-level prayers. He calls you into a relationship far beyond religion's formalities. He longs for intimacy with you, an authentic connection where you walk with Him, sharing your joys, deepest fears, wildest dreams, and quiet struggles. This is the heart of God, a Father who wants not just your obedience but your heart, a confidant who invites you to lay bare your soul, to be vulnerable and honest in His presence. God's invitation is personal. He is not an abstract force or a distant deity. He is your loving Father, deeply involved in the details of your life. He wants you to come to Him not just with what you think you should say, but with everything that fills your heart, the hopes whispered in the dark, the dreams you scarcely dare to believe, and even the fears that weigh on your mind. You do not have to carry them alone, for He is always there, listening, ready to lift those burdens and give you peace. God is your constant, safe harbor in a chaotic and overwhelming world. When you open your heart to Him, you will find a refuge where you can be your most authentic self, free from the masks you wear for the world. In Him, there is no need for pretense. There is only love, grace, and understanding. He sees you fully, knows you thoroughly, and accepts you just as you are, with all your flaws and uncertainties. He invites you to let go of the barriers that keep you distant, to allow Him into the innermost parts of your soul where healing and freedom await. This relationship God offers is not based on performance or perfection. He isn't waiting for you to get it right before you come to Him. He wants to share in every aspect of your life, to be the one you turn to in times of celebration and sorrow. His love for you is unconditional, and His arms are always open, no matter where you've been or how far you've wandered. There is no mistake too great, no distance too far that can keep you from the love of your Heavenly Father. God wants to be your closest companion, the one you run to when the world feels heavy and who rejoices with you in every victory. He is not just a passive observer of your life. He is actively involved in shaping your path and working for your good. When you draw near Him, you will find a God who listens and a Father who responds with comfort, wisdom, and strength. This intimacy with God is the foundation of everything else in life. It's the source of your strength, the anchor for your soul, and the wellspring of your joy. When you walk closely with Him, you will discover a depth of love and purpose that the world cannot offer. You are not meant to journey through life alone. God is with you, guiding, supporting, and loving you through every season. So come, open your heart to Him. Share your dreams, your fears, your hopes, and your pain. Let Him carry you when the load feels too heavy, celebrate with you in moments of joy, and comfort you in times of sorrow. This is the relationship He desires with you, one of closeness, vulnerability, and trust. And as you draw near to Him, you will find His presence fills every part of your life with peace, joy, and love beyond measure. In a world that seems to shift and change with every passing moment, where certainty is rare and stability feels fleeting, God offers you something unshakable: His everlasting promises. These are not mere words, but sacred assurances rooted in His unchanging nature. They are as firm as the heavens and as reliable as the sun's rising. God's promises anchor your soul, a foundation that holds steady even in the most turbulent times. He is not a God who forgets or fails. Every promise He makes, He keeps. God has promised to be your provider, meeting every need before you even ask. He knows the desires of your heart, the burdens you carry, and the uncertainties you face. Remember that God has already seen the way forward when you wonder how you will make it through. He is working on your behalf, orchestrating events and aligning opportunities so that what you need will be provided at just the right time. His provision is not just about material things. It extends to your deepest spiritual needs, filling the empty places in your heart with His peace, love, and grace. But His promises don't stop at provision. God is also your protector, the one who shields you from harm, seen and unseen. In a world of dangers and uncertainties, He is your refuge, fortress, and defense. His protection surrounds you like a shield, guarding you from every arrow of fear, doubt, and despair that may try to pierce your heart. Even when life feels most chaotic, the storms rage, and the path ahead seems unclear, God's hand is over you, keeping you safe in His loving care. And still, His promises go further. God is your guide, lighting the way before you with His wisdom. He has promised to lead you on the path of righteousness, showing you the way when you feel lost and giving you counsel when you are unsure. You are never left to navigate the twists and turns of life on your own. His Spirit is always with you, gently guiding you toward His perfect plan. His direction may not always align with the world's ways, but it leads you toward the deeper purpose He has designed for you, a purpose filled with peace, joy, and meaning. God's promises are your security in a world of uncertainty. When you are faced with confusion or doubt, when you feel like nothing is certain, cling to the truth of His word. His promises stand not on human circumstances or fleeting emotions, but on His eternal character, unchanging, faithful, and authentic. He has said that He will provide for, protect, and guide you and will not fail. As you lay awake at night, pondering the uncertainties of tomorrow, remember that the one who holds your future is the same God who has been faithful throughout ages. He has not brought you this far to leave you now. His promises are not just for some distant future, but for this moment. You are invited to trust in His timing, knowing He works all things together for your good. God has prepared a prosperous life for you with His blessings, a feast of love, joy, peace, and abundance. These blessings are not always what the world would expect, for they are far more profound and enduring. They fill the soul with the contentment and joy that surpasses circumstance, rooted in the knowledge that God is with you and for you. To partake of these blessings, you must come to His table with a heart open and ready to receive. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of what He has prepared for you, transforming your perspective and helping you see His grace's richness in every moment. God's promises are your anchor, your light, and your strength. They stand through every trial, every storm, and every uncertainty. His love for you is the foundation of these promises, and His faithfulness ensures that none will fail. So trust in Him, rest in His promises, and know that your future is secure in His hands. He will provide, protect, and guide you. For He is the God of everlasting faithfulness, and His promises are forever true. God has prepared a banquet of blessings for you, an overflowing feast of love, joy, peace, and abundance. It is not a table set with earthly riches, but with the riches of His grace, freely given to those who come to Him with open hearts. This is a feast like no other, where every need and longing are satisfied, not through the world's fleeting pleasures, but through God's eternal goodness. He invites you to partake, come to His table, and receive all He has lovingly prepared for you. This feast is a collection of blessings and a reflection of God's heart toward you. His love for you is so great that He does not withhold anything good from you. His table is overflowing with seen and unseen blessings that fill your soul with peace in times of turmoil, joy amid sorrow, and hope even when all seems lost. These are not mere material gifts, but spiritual treasures that nourish the deepest parts of your being. You are invited to experience fullness at God's table, a life abundant with meaning, purpose, and divine favor. However, to truly enjoy the abundance set before you, there is a crucial requirement: a heart of gratitude. Gratitude is the posture that opens your spirit to receive all that God has for you. When you approach His table with thankfulness, your eyes are open to see the blessings that have always been there, but perhaps were overlooked. Gratitude transforms your perspective, allowing you to recognize the hand of God at work in your life, even in the smallest of ways. Through this attitude of thanksgiving, you step into the fullness of what He has prepared. Yet, this feast is not just for your fulfillment. The blessings you receive are meant to overflow into the lives of others. As you partake of God's love, joy, and peace, He calls you to share these blessings with those around you, extending His grace to a world in need. His love is not meant to be contained, but to flow through you as a vessel of His kindness, mercy, and compassion. You become a reflection of His abundant generosity, giving from the overflow of what you have received. Fear and doubt often stand at the door, trying to keep you from entering this abundance. They whisper lies, telling you that you are unworthy, that the blessings are too far out of reach, or that failure is inevitable. But God's truth is more vital than these doubts. He calls you to step out in faith, trusting that He will meet you at the table with open arms. His blessings are not something you earn by your efforts. They are gifts of grace, freely given because of His deep love for you. As you sit at His table, know that this feast of blessings is not a temporary indulgence, but a lifelong invitation. God's abundance is not limited by time or circumstance. It is a continual outpouring of His goodness, day by day, moment by moment. His love never runs dry, and His desire to bless you never wanes. You are invited to return to His table repeatedly to receive the fresh mercies He offers each day. The feast God has prepared for you is one of joy that lifts your spirit, peace that calms your mind, and love that fills your heart to overflow. It is a feast that exceeds all you could ever ask or imagine, for it comes from the depths of God's limitless grace. Come with a grateful heart, ready to receive all He has prepared. And as you partake, may you be filled to overflowing, knowing that His blessings are not just for this moment, but all eternity. God is the author of your story, and His pen writes in strokes of wonder, grace, and the impossible. He is the God who moves mountains, opens doors that no one can shut, and creates paths where none seem to exist. The world may whisper of limits, obstacles too significant and challenges too overwhelming, but God's voice speaks louder, declaring that nothing is too complicated for Him. He calls you to step out in faith, not because of your strength, but because of His power to accomplish the unimaginable in your life. Fear and doubt often try to hold you back, whispering lies that you are not enough, that the road is too hard, and that failure is inevitable. These weapons would keep you from the fullness of the life God has prepared for you. But God, in His infinite love, reminds you that He is the God of the impossible. Where you see limitations, He sees opportunities for miracles. Where you feel weak, His strength is made perfect. Where doors appear closed, He is already opening new ones beyond your sight. God is not asking you to rely on your abilities to achieve the impossible. Instead, He invites you to trust in His power, to lean into His promises, and to step forward with the courage He has placed within you. Faith is not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward despite it, knowing that God goes before you and will meet you with arms wide open. As you trust Him, you will see mountains move and barriers fall. What once seemed unattainable will unfold before you as part of the divine story He has been writing since the beginning. God's plans for you are not ordinary. They are far greater and more magnificent than anything you could design independently. He has inscribed a testimony of victory and triumph in your life, a story of overcoming, grace, and transformation. But this story cannot unfold if you remain bound by fear and doubt. God calls you to rise, to step boldly into the unknown, trusting that He will lead you every step of the way. And as you do, you will witness the impossible becoming reality. When you step out in faith, believing that God is the author of your story, you invite miracles into your life. Doors that seemed shut forever will suddenly open. Obstacles that once blocked your path will be removed, and the impossible will become possible. This is not because of anything you can do, but because of who God is, the one who spoke the universe into existence, the one who holds all things together by His power. God's invitation is clear. Trust in Him, and He will do the impossible in your life. Do not let fear or doubt strip you of your destiny. You were made for more than what the world says is possible. God has placed a divine spark within you, a calling that requires courage and faith. As you step out into the unknown, trust that He is already there, guiding you with His wisdom and surrounding you with His love. The obstacles you face are not the end of the story. They are merely chapters in a greater narrative that God is weaving. He calls you to move forward, to propel yourself with the courage He has planted deep within your soul. And when you do, you will see how He makes the impossible happen, turning your weakness into strength and your doubts into triumphs. God is the God of the impossible. He is the author of your life, and He has inscribed a future of victory, joy, and purpose for you. Will you trust Him? Will you step into the destiny He has prepared, knowing that with Him, nothing is too hard and no dream is too great? The choice is yours, but know this: when you step out in faith, God is already there, waiting to greet you with open arms, ready to accomplish the impossible in your life. The voice of God is calling out to you, a quiet yet insistent invitation to step into the life He has prepared for you. This is not a call for the faint of heart, but for those willing to embark on a journey of faith, courage, and trust. You are one of the chosen ones, set apart to live a life that transcends the ordinary, a life shaped by the hand of God, woven with divine purpose. Now, the choice is before you. Will you answer His call? God has laid before you a path that leads to a future filled with meaning, joy, and abundance. But this path has its challenges. It requires the courage to step out of your comfort zone, to trust when you cannot see the way forward, and to believe that God is working all things together for your good. He does not promise an easy road, but He promises that He will walk with you every step of the way. His presence will be your strength, love, comfort, wisdom, and guidance. As you stand at the crossroads of decision, remember that God's promises are eternal. He has already written a story of victory for you, where fear is replaced by faith, doubt is overshadowed by trust, and the impossible becomes possible through His power. He is the author of your life, and He has inscribed a future for you beyond your wildest dreams. But the story cannot unfold without your willingness to step forward, to say yes to His call. This is not a journey you walk alone. God is with you, guiding your steps and surrounding you with His love. He has placed people in your life to walk alongside you, fellow travelers on the road of faith who will encourage and support you. And above all, He has assured you that His presence will never leave you. No matter where the path leads, you will never walk it alone. The world will offer you many illusions, fleeting promises that try to pull your attention away from the divine purpose God has for you. But His call remains clear and unwavering. Come, follow assured you narrow, but the rewards are eternal. God is not asking for perfection, but a willing heart, a heart ready to trust Him, seek His will above all else, and step forward in faith. Will you rise to this calling? Will you trust the one who has been with you since the beginning, knows the depths of your heart, and has a plan far more significant than you can imagine? The choice is yours, but the invitation is always there. God is waiting, arms open wide, ready to lead you into a life of purpose, peace, and eternal joy. Answer His call today, and watch as He writes a story of grace, love, and miracles in your life. In this moment, God asks you to trust, surrender, and step into the fullness of who He has created you to be. Will you answer? The path may be unknown, but with God as your guide, every step will lead you closer to the life He has designed for you. This is your time to rise, to say yes to His call, and to begin the journey that will forever change surrender and eating. Will you answer His call?